Alright, here we got Black Piccolo. I wanted to test this out, see how well it did. I like Piccolo and I like Black, so why not put them together? My goal is to pretty much get to level 2 with Piccolo. I think this is his best stage, and yeah, not much else I can say about that. Mastery wise, plussing everything, all my attacks is pretty good. The power is pretty relevant most of the time, and yeah, just try to get there. For Dragon Balls, I use 4 and 5. 4, I think, is pretty much necessary in any deck. Destroying 2 setups or drills is pretty relevant against blue, orange, pretty much everything. And Dragon Ball 5, I'm pretty much running just for the stages and the Anger. The drawing card is really good too, but I'm running allies, so the stages really help. And for my allies, I have Yamcha, Tien Shinhan, and Chaozu. Yamcha is pretty decent at going up against setups, drills, and allies. Tien Shinhan draws you a card, which is amazing. And 7 life cards from Chaozu. If you wait and use Chaozu at the end, it's pretty much going to crit, even if he shovels himself back in. I think that it's worth it. For setups, I have Visiting the Past. That's a staple. And Black Searching Technique. This card is amazing. Being able to banish 2 cards you don't like from their deck, and also searching through their deck so you know what else to get after that. I think this is bonkers. This card's really good. For drills, I have Black Erasing Drill. This is pretty much, it's only 1 in the deck because you're limited to 1. If you were able to have more, I think that'd be a lot better. But I run a lot of energy attacks, so whenever I perform a successful one, I can destroy a opponent's setup or drill. Hopefully, I can get this off a lot and, you know, have it work out for me. My other drill is Black Smoothness Drill. I'm running 3 because I'm committed to getting the +1 maximum hand size. I think that this is where Black really shines in terms of going up against other decks. Pretty much having a extra card is really good. As for events, I have Piccolo's Weighted Clothing. The power isn't as good as its banish effect. Gaining 2 anger for pretty much banishing a card is pretty good, and this will help us get to our level 2. And the power, you can make your opponent skip their first action and gain stages. So the stages can pretty much go to our allies, and making them skip their first action is really good when we have a confrontation and we're the defender. So that's pretty good. So it's pretty good time. Black Command is, I think, one of the best cards in the deck. Discarding it to our mastery allows us to gain 2 anger, and it shuffles itself back into our deck. Endurance 1, and the power is not as relevant as I would like it to be. Banishing the top 5 cards of our opponent's discard is good. If less than 5 cards are banished, your opponent destroys the top 3 cards of his life deck. This usually doesn't happen late game. Early on, it can be pretty good, but I'm going to be using it more for the discard effect. We have Time, staple. And we have Black Adaptation. This is an energy stop. And if the attack was an energy combat card, banish it, search your opponent's discard and life deck for a copy, and banish that as well. This card's really good. This pretty much shuts down energy combat and allows you to get another, like, pretty much filters their deck out of energy combats, so you don't have to worry about it as much later on. And my last event is Confrontation. I think this is a staple in any hero deck, as well as stare down in any villain deck. And like I said earlier, being able to Piccolo's weighted clothing into Confrontation is a really good turn of combat. So next we're going into physical combats. This is a physical stop, Black Knee Catch. Raises our anger 2 levels. It's really good. We're trying to get to level 2 and possibly even higher. And we have a lot of anger for that. So we're probably going to get there really fast. That is my only physical stop, so hopefully we don't get hit with physical attacks. But if anything, we'll just hit them with our cards. We have Black Hug Maneuver. This raises our anger 2, and it's a physical attack that does AT stages. Not the best attack. I probably could be running something else other than this, but the 2 anger is relevant. Endurance 2 is probably the best on this card. And the attack is just, I'm probably not going to use this attack ever. This will probably be endurance most of the time. If I do get this attack off, it's either going to be discarded or used for the anger to level up. And here we have Black Defensive Burst. 4 life cards for a physical attack is pretty good. If it hits, your opponent can't perform physical attacks for the remainder of combat. I'm pretty much relying on that hitting most of the time against physical-based decks. If it doesn't hit, then, well, you know, okay. But if this does hit, then we're safe from physical attacks. And our last physical combat is Black Lunge, Endurance 1, really good. AT plus 4 life cards can be pretty relevant later on in the game, and it raises your anger 1. So, moving on to energy combat, we have our energy stops. We run 3 speedy dodge. I can discard a card from my hand. If I do, they discard a card. Stops an energy attack. Pretty much trying to control combat there. Black Swipe is probably one of the best energy stops that I've seen. Stops an energy attack. Endurance 2. Banish 3 cards from your opponent's discard pile. This card is just really good. Should be the #1 energy stop that you put into a deck when you're building. This would be the #2 energy stop you put into your deck when you're building Black. Black Corruption. Stops an energy attack, raise your anger 1, lower your opponent's anger 2. If this card is discarded from your hand, banish the top 2 cards of your opponent's life deck. This in combination with our mastery can really do some damage. And even if you use it for an energy stop, you're gaining anger and you're lowering their anger. So it's pretty good. Moving on to our energy combat attacks, we have Special Beam Cannon. Energy attack costing 2, 3 life cards, rejuvenate 1. Not the greatest attack. If it hits, name 2 different non-Dragon Ball cards, search your opponent's life deck for 1 copy of each and banish them. Right now, I think we're trying to test this out in place of Black Scout Maneuver. It's an attack, and if it hits, I can go get allies. I can go get a specific drill, a specific event. I can go get their time. I can go get their confrontations. You know, I can do a lot of other things with this card if it hits. So hopefully we're hitting with this card. This probably be the last energy combat we play in a turn, hoping that they don't have any more energy combat so we can go get their cards. Black Interceptor Barrage is up next. Energy attack costing 2 stages, 4 life cards, 4 stages. If it hits, banish 3 cards from a discard pile. This card is one of the best attacks I've in the deck. It also has Endurance, so that makes it even better. Next up is my favorite card, Black Swirl. With this card is pretty, like, I was running a Black Trunks deck, and this card is just ridiculous in Black Trunks. And so I kept it in here for Black Piccolo, hopefully so that I can get Confrontation and go into Black Swirl. Even with that, if you're going to get up against blue, if you're going up against a certain color, you can name a card that you know you can't deal with, and hopefully that's the card that's in their hand. And when it hits, raise your anger 2 levels. That's really good. It's 2 stages, 4 life cards, and the effect is just really good. And I have Overpowering Attack to go get my allies, and Black Energy Web, 2 stages, 6 life cards. If this card excuse me, if this card hits, it's probably going to be a crit, and they can't use energy attacks for the remainder of combat. So that is Black Piccolo.